Hey everybody. So recently I got into goose hunting. For me, there's nothing like it. It is just an amazing time. Not to say that duck hunting isn't fun. Don't get me wrong, I love duck hunting. I love the sound of those whistling wings. There's nothing better, right? Well, for me, goose hunting is where it's at. So, with goose hunting, you gotta have a massive spread, typically. And that's to get their attention from way up high. And in order to get that big spread, there's gotta be a financial investment, right? One thing I've been doing recently, and I'm letting you guys in on a little secret here. Numbers is the only thing that matters. Condition, gotta have good decoys mixed in your spread. But for the bulk majority of your spread, you can use fillers. What I've been doing recently and in the off season for the last couple of years is I have been buying every full body goose decoy that I can find, no matter the condition. As long as they're in one piece, as long as they have a head, I bought them. I wanted to create this video to show you guys how easy it is to actually build a big goose spread. Let's get started. Here's about 2.5 dozen. As I mentioned, you know, it really doesn't matter about the condition. I mean, the paint is chipping away. I mean, there's a lot missing there. But then there's some of them like this one here that are in okay condition. Those ones there, you typically would repaint into speckle bellies. With these ones like this, or even this one here, you're going to spray them as snow geese. So first we gotta prep them. We gotta prep the decoys. You gotta remove all that paint, paint that's chipping, the dirt, the grime, all that stuff that's been collecting over the years. And what I use is I just use my drill and I use just a grinding wheel, more like a steel brush. So a steel brush wheel, and it removes the paint pretty well. So let's get doing that. Once you've removed a good portion of the chipped up paint and stuff that would easily flake off, you're going to want to wipe it down. Try to remove as much dust and debris as you possibly can. You might find that there's still going to be a good amount of paint still left on the decoy, which is fine. It's really not that big of a deal. You're mainly just wanting to get that paint that's going to chip off, and that your paint that you will later apply is going to go along with it. So when it comes to painting, prep is everything, right? So once I've got the bodies all prepped and ready to go, I glue on my heads. The reason I glue on my heads is because I don't want to be looking for them out in the field. And today, today's glues are pretty strong, so they do a pretty good job of holding them on. I use, well, ape glue, how about that? And the way it works with this glue is you have to, of course, clean the area. As you can see here, a bunch of the paint debris on the inside. So once you've got a good, clean, I guess, neck, if you will, I always like to scrape it up just a little bit. And then clean it off. The reason I scrape it a little bit, I think that it creates a little bit better of a bond. I may be wrong, I don't know, but anyway. And do the same to the other. Two. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned, with this glue here, you have to dampen, which actually activates the glue. So I like to dampen mine up a little bit, shake it off, and then I apply the glue. If I can get it off. All right. All right, so I apply a few drops. You don't need a whole lot with this glue here. I usually put a dot right there where it locks it in place as well. All right. And then I put the head in, and then I lock it in place. And then put it off to the side and let it dry. It takes a little while to dry, but when it hardens up, it's good to go. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, you're going to want to wipe it down, remove as much of that debris and dust as you possibly can. Yeah, so you're going to want to clean the mud, debris, that kind of stuff off the decoy and to get it prepped for painting. I'll probably end up doing 2 coats, but with this first coat, you just want to cover as much as you possibly can. Just like the others, we'll glue on the head. So next, once everything is dry, now it's time for the detail. The tail feathers are going to be black. Next, with the speck, the front of the belly is pretty faded. The head is definitely needing a new coat of brown. And then underneath, I'll redo the white and whatnot. But overall, I mean, it's pretty okay, especially for a filler. So let's spray the belly and then get going on everything else. As far as paints that I use for the specs, you know, I really like Rust-Oleum camouflage. They're khaki for the light browns, the tan on the front of the breast of the spec, and then also around the sides as well. I spray it with that. And then I typically go with the Rust-Oleum camouflage. They're dark brown for the back of the body and the heads as well. But they didn't have any of that, so I'm trying their Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch. Looks like satin espresso, and it is a matte finish as well, so to stay away from that shine. Now that the snows are good and dry, now it's time to do a little bit of detail work. First we'll start with the beak, and then from the beak we'll go to the eyes, and that's about it. So here we go. Now the actual color of a snow goose beak is kind of like a purplish pink rose mix. Just to make it easy on myself, I just do like a pale pink. It's fine. we'll do the bars. So on the front here, and it doesn't have to be uniform or anything, you just kind of make the bars. We'll do the eyes as well, and all I do for the eye, just a little black mark. It's good to go. Okay. Then the speckle belly, very similar to the snow, and the last back feathers here are going to be black. I'm going to paint those black. And I usually do 2 coats for everything, just so it gets good coverage and it lasts. And then the speckle belly has white around its face up here, right by his beak. So I'll do that. This one here, the beak looks okay, so I'm going to leave it like it is. I'm not going to paint their beak. Now, with their beak, it's kind of like a yellowish orange kind of a beak. You're already seeing that it's looking like a speckle belly, which is good. Kind of the last thing to do, that white little line that goes from their rear here all the way up, and it ends right about here. You know, it's one of those things, as a filler, it doesn't have to look perfect. Anyway, yeah, so there's a speckle belly. Doesn't look half bad. Definitely work as a filler. I'll let that dry, and then I will do a clear coat over it to protect the paint, and I think we'll be good to go. Hey, thanks for watching. Honestly, painting decoys is a whole lot of fun, and it's a great way to save a whole lot of money. If you like what you see, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks. God bless.